The go live button. Who would have thought?
Damn.
Damn. Look, I'm sorry, y'all. That's my mistake. Look, I'm sorry. Look, that's my mistake, y'all. For anybody who's waiting for this live stream to start, we actually did our entire stream segment with outro, and the debate just got canceled. So, is what it is. Uh, that sucks. That actually sucks. Let me fix this now.
I mean,
So,
bro's dumb as hell anyway.
yeah. Apologies. What you been up to lately?
Me?
Yeah.
I just got back from work and saw the news and was like, "Yep, it's time."
I don't. So, I actually haven't looked into it. So, is it just that he's in it? Like he's actually is it
Um,
off, not just on the flight logs, but like properly in the files.
so Wall Street Journal came out with the birthday card, and
Yes.
Trump sued Wall Street Journal and Murdoch for it, right? And then they doubled down with this, saying that the DOJ informed him in a that he was all over the Epstein files. And so they have
Ooh.
apparently they have people close to Trump talking to them at the Wall Street Journal.
Ooh, that is fucking. I think the mega quote for this is just gonna be, well, it's the Wall Street Journal's lying.
Well, yeah, but I kept that's what I was saying in Danny's live. I was all like, that's a fucking cope because Trump basically just fell into Rupert Murdoch's trap in that sense, with like obviously the classic media thing of teasing some like thing like a letter, but then going for the whole thing afterwards. Like, you know what I mean? Or
Mm-hmm.
going for the big thing afterwards.
Absolutely. Ray, what's up, man?
How's it going, guys?
Pretty good.
It's been a while, Ray.
Any chance that you drove for Ray?
Arizona 30, and I voted for Harris.
That's pretty basic. Glad to see another democracy enthusiast on the panel, as usual. Not
Yeah,
getting we're
I'd
not
have to
getting.
say that
Yeah, go ahead.
even if you're like a neoconservative, you should believe in a 2% inflation rate and also Fed independence. That's why it's hard having the debates with conservatives nowadays because
Well,
the
they don't
majority of
believe
them that
that.
are
They just
MAGA are, like, in my opinion, fascist.
yeah, and I already went through all this, right? Basically, like the point of the Fed is that it's an independent agency away from the president because they have to make decisions about how the entire economy is going to operate, right? And what every president is incentivized to do is just to slash interest rates as low as possible so they can get short term gains to look at on jobs reports, right?
Well, I
But
think the best example of that was Arthur Burns back when Nixon and what he did that led up to Paul Volcker having to rescue them. I mean, Arthur Burns gave in to the president, gave in to two, which caused inflation to go up in the 60s and the 70s.
exactly.
And it wasn't until Paul Volcker came in and he held the rate. He hiked the rate, even though he got the economy into two recessions. It gave the United States 20 years of prosperity. You know, Paul Volcker really is what, you know, Jerome Powell is trying to do. And quite honestly, Jerome Powell looks up to Paul Volcker for what he did.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's
Mm-hmm.
hard having a conversation with Republicans now, because if you're a neoconservative, you know, you do believe in those things, and so it's hard, you know, having discussions with people nowadays that don't really know what they're talking about. And I think the best example of what was going to happen was last week. If you paid attention to the market last
SCY
week,
Punk, what's up, man?
I'll just cap it here real quick. Last week was a good example because he came out midday on Wednesday. He said he was going to get rid of the Fed. And when that happened, you saw gold go up like crazy and U.S. equities shot down pretty fast. So that was a really good indicator as to what would happen if he were to get rid of the Federal Reserve or try to
Hmm.
change him. I guess it's a
Absolutely.
better
I think
thing
if we
to
were to get
say.
rid of the Federal Reserve, that um, everybody would probably move to the euro. I think that at least that's what I'm predicting. That'd be like the next global reserve currency.
Well, right now the global currency right now is gold. Um, Gold right now is climbing to all-time highs.
Yeah,
So
but
that's
we
an
saw like
indicator.
when Trump put in the tariffs and our 10 year shot up, and people were selling off. We saw the 10 year for the euro start to go down as people started to buy into that. I think people are.
You know, you
I
look.
think the fact is that like fiat currencies are here to stick around. I don't think they're going to go anywhere. I don't think gold's going to replace it. It might just be like a short term like safe asset that people are more willing to buy into during times of economic insecurity.
You know, even if you look at other parts of the world that has no Fed independence, you see how bad the inflation gets, and the wages never catch up. I think people need to understand that, and also people think that he was going to get a rate cut in January if it weren't for the tariffs, and even he wants a rate cut down to zero again. The only time you're going to do that is if you're like in a recession. Even like right now, they're going to cut the rate, but they're not going to do it at such a substantial, rate cut. They're going to do it little by little. Because also, if you cut a rate too fast and you cut a rate like by a large amount, that's also an indicator that your country is probably going into recession. And people need to understand that, rate cuts are good, but they're also not good if you don't know how to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you look at
Yeah,
countries
you'd
like,
have to like if you're doing a rate, from my understanding, right? If you're doing rate cuts, what you want is to have high, you want to have high unemployment, and you want to have like pretty low inflation.
well, it depends. Um, there's two
Well,
ways to get a rate
that'd be
cut.
ideal. Though.
Well, there's two ways to get a rate cut. One's high unemployment, and the other one's 2% inflation. Now, if you're gonna get a rate cut because of unemployment, that's not good because that means you're going into recession.
Yep.
Um, the 2% thing, that's true though. Now you're not gonna get a crazy rate cut, but you're gonna get progressively a rate cut. One or two in a year, maybe three. Um, so that's always been my argument is you don't want to see the unemployment go up because that's not
No.
good. And I think he's pushing for that. So it's interesting. And there's also been conspiracy that he wants a rate cut because
Hmm.
supposedly he's got some bad loans he wants to
Would
pay
you agree that
at a
is like
cheaper
it's
rate.
corrupt of Trump to basically make up fraud Jerome Powell's committing and like tacitly threaten him with like investigation or even charging him with something just to try and make him cut rates because it would be politically beneficial to him.
I think so. I think Jerome Powell, for what it's worth, has done a good job. Um, I think honestly he's been a very honest Fed chairman. Um, and people that argue that he's been so corrupt, I mean, he did hike the rate too when Biden was in office. So if they were to have done that during the Trump administration, I think people would freak out. Um, so he's been very fair. I mean, you can't really say that he's been maliciously trying to favor one party or the other. As to why he wears a purple tie, and he always promotes that because purple means bipartisan. The Fed's not supposed to choose a side. The Fed also doesn't care if you're going to go into recession. That's not their problem. If they see we're going into recession, well, they're going to do the things they got to do to get,
Because the Fed is
prices
meant to be an
stabilized.
independent agency that's not acting
Oh, yeah.
on the will of the president.
I told somebody if you get rid of the Fed and you want to do that, I would call you a fascist,
Well,
in my
people,
opinion.
and people are equating Trump wanting to slash interest rates with Trump wanting to get rid of the Fed. Trump doesn't want to get rid of the Fed. He just wants to have complete and total control over it so he can use it for his political gain. I think that's what a lot of like anti-Fed people are like twisting themselves into pretzels to like, oh no, he just wants to get rid of the Fed, and that's why he's doing this because they want to cope over the fact that no, he's just like every single other slimy politician.
You even had like bankers, even Jamie Dimon came out last week defending him. saying, and I'm not a big fan of Jamie Dimon, but I'm just using him as a source
Mm-hmm.
because he's relevant and, and prevalent as well in that you know realm. If you got somebody like him saying, "Hey, if this guy's doing a good job, you should probably listen to somebody like that," because I'm telling you, last week was really the like it was a very good indicator of what was going to happen, and it was interesting. The market, I have it on my page. You can see it. I think it's like the third or fourth video that I have on there. The market tanked for an hour, and then an hour later, he comes back out with the news, and he says, "Whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm not gonna fire him. I was just playing," and the market went back up. Right now the market's doing quite well. With him holding the rate, the market's liking that. As to what happens here in December and what happens to the data, we'll have to see. But I told somebody that voted Republican, I said, you do know you were going to get a rate cut in January. Now, him adding tariffs and everything, we still have yet to see that mature. I mean, I think it's too. What do you think? I think it's too soon to call right now as to say what's going to happen in regards to the
Energy's
tariffs.
live on cam right now too. I can't believe the conspiracy is over. Look, that's the conspiracy y'all pushed, and you owe me right now. You need to get that gift goal up to 100. That's what you owe me for pushing these disgusting, nasty lies for years. I can't come up now just passing by. Well, at least give me my fucking gifts up, right? I need some money, bro. Okay. Please. I'm poor. Okay. But sure, are you and Ray, I see that you're a teacup there, but Ray, are you looking into like any of the more judicial stuff that's happening currently?
As in what? I
Surrounding
can
Harvard
kind of elaborate
specifically.
on that. Oh, as to them not getting like like a stipend, something like financial
Yeah,
stipend.
funding for research,
Yeah,
medical research.
as to do I agree what he's doing? Is that what you're asking, or
I'm
do
not
I
asking if you
disagree?
necessarily agree with what he's doing, but I'm more asking, um, I'm more asking like where if like the free speech like implications around it, like those kind of legal stuff, like the due process implications that are surrounding it.
I think any major university should, still get a stipend. There's a lot of great people that go to those types of schools, like Princeton, MIT, Harvard, Yale, X, Y, and Z. I don't think that'd be a good. I don't think that's healthy. And that also is kind of like you said. It does. What am I trying to say here? It does. That's kind of like a form of freedom too. Just trying. Like what I'm trying to say is, every dictatorship tries to get rid of that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's always the same story. People that are educated are the first ones to go. Because like for a lot of these schools have great studies. There was one study, a few studies actually. And you can fact check me. One by MIT, one by Harvard, one by UC Davis and Ball State, Indiana. They did a study in 2015 that showed from 2000 to 2010, MIT had it a higher percentage. 85% of the jobs that were lost were due to automation, not offshoring. So I I always I always preface that study to people, and I always get called woke for that. But I always tell people, I'm like, why would you call that woke? People study their whole life to get the real answer as to what's going on, and for you to just kind of ignore that and listen to somebody that's really shooting propaganda at you. um I don't know. I don't think it's a good thing to be, you know um putting the blame on higher education,
Like that.
if
Are you
that's
the
what you're
one
trying to
living life,
ask
constantly?
me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I got to do that. It's like giving it it's like help. um But again, man, again, going back on what you had here with Jerome, you're one of the first people that I've seen. Usually, people have, social politics for me are really tough to talk about, especially now. I've met so many people that are on the right that support, you know, LGB, minority of color. So talking to them in that realm of politics is tough right now. I really don't like discussing those things anymore with people because I mean, I got told recently by somebody that was of color because I'm Hispanic, and he said, "I think it's time for your people to suffer." And I said, "You got to
Holy
be kidding me,
shit.
man!" Yeah, I had a woman too from North Carolina tell me that too. Color girl too. That was, I don't think that was cool. So it's been really hard talking to people when it comes to like social politics. So I really try to pivot and I really try to talk about economics. And then people say, "Oh, well, you keep talking about money." I'm like, well, that's what this whole discussion is about, money, man. Who has it and who doesn't have it, and how rich we are in the sense of our dollar and our buying power. And I think people forget that if inflation keeps creeping up and the wages never catch up, the buying power is going to go down. It'll come to a point where you won't be able to buy a home. You'll be busting your butt at your job and you barely will be making it, you know, in the sense of that. I don't think people understand how bad it can get if you don't have Fed independence and what can happen to a country when it gets overinflated.
Absolutely. Noah, dude, I had a scheduled debate. The guy he had to go last second because his fucking he's divorced and his the mom didn't show up for the kids at drop off time. He's like calling the police and shit.
LOL.
Oh, jeez, I didn't think that was like so random.
What do you think about the dollar being at an all-time low right now? What do you think about that? You think
I
that's
don't know. When
healthy?
people say like all time low, I don't know like what they mean exactly. Like, was the dollar
Well,
and all was
52
it
week,
what's
52 week low. I'll put it like that. 52
52
week
week
low.
low?
Dude, you're better
That's
off
like a
just
year.
doing your own live.
Who said that?
Well, you can jump in and talk. What's your opinion? Whoever said that. What do you think about Fed independence?
Bro, Lovey's such an op. Jesus Christ.
Lovey?
Yeah, did you see the Discord?
Oh no. What's happening? Oh gosh. Lovey's such a fucking op. Holy shit. I was just joking with Hex and said that to him. Because when I think of you, all I can think of is slurs, Luke. Oh my god, what is a slur?
Kind of big.
Oh my gosh, wait. Whose Discord is this from?
Dean's, apparently.
Dean's?
Yeah.
Damn, I think there's getting like dissed in there. I think a slur sorry, I think a slur is our slur. It has more utility. This host is just admitted to raking him in slurs. Oh my god. Oh my god, what an op, bro. What a fucking op. That's hilarious though. All right,
I'm joining the Discord right
that's
now.
funny as fuck. Holy shit, that is funny as fuck. Wait, who's C?
I don't know. I'm joining the Discord right now.
Okay.
Do you think that Scott Bessent's going to be the next Fed chairman?
Scott Bessent?
Or do you think he's not going to fire? Yeah, Scott Bessent. That's who supposedly he's up in the. He's like up there to be nominated, supposedly. Because he's going to be more dovish.
Wait. Sorry, I just hear there's some guy. What's up, bro? I think that I don't think that Jerome Powell's getting fired.
Even if they were to fire him, I was reading that it won't matter. There's 12 people that vote. There's only 2 right now that want a rate cut. So that's like 15%. And if he gets fired, he's still going to have a say and he's still going to be very prevalent in the Fed. So it doesn't matter.
Okay, I'm trying to go on with them. What? Sorry, I just got a really weird DM.
What happened?
The Red Dawn guy said, just DM me again.
Who'd you guys vote for? Can I ask? Any MAGA here?
No. I voted for our Lord and Savior Hassan.
Oh. Sorry. Our Lord and Savior Hassan Piker.
Hassan.
Hassanabi.
Who's that?
Oh, don't look him up. He's the worst.
Why is that?
He is pro-terrorism and just like the most fucking like cancer that you can, like, if you think of like leftist cancer, it all comes from him.
Mm-hmm. I might be kicking out. I think I might have found something last second to actually debate.
About Jerome Powell?
No, not Jerome Powell. Harvard.
Oh, word.
Nobody wants to debate this shit.
What's your point of view on that thing? I don't really know much on that subject, but what do you think about it? Enlighten me.
Basically the Trump administration demanded Harvard suppress or get rid of, or like basically suppress people with certain like viewpoints and ideologies on their campus, specifically like pro-Palestinian ones, and if they didn't, they were going to take away the federal funding. Exactly. Wait, what?
Yeah, so much for freedom of expression.
Wait, why is that's so weird? I unmuted it without like on its own. Okay, give me a sec. I'm gonna have to kick all of you.
All good.
See you there, man. Can you unmute? Yeah, just say something. Okay, say something one more time.
Hello, hello, 1, 2, 3.
Based. Okay, I just need to make sure it's coming through the stream. Give me a second. I need to set some shit up.
No problem.
Okay. Hopefully OBS is gonna work for me. Say something one more time.
Hello, hello, 3, 2, 1.
Wait, do you like Sorry, one more time. One more time. I have to set this up. Sorry.
You're good. Hello, hello, 3, 1, 2.
Okay, we're good. I thought it would light up when I made it big, but apparently it doesn't. Because Discord sucks. Okay.
You mean when I talk? Because mine lights up.
No, like when you click on the profile and you expand it out to like a bigger view, I just want to light up, which is fine. Just a little bit annoying. Okay, but welcome, dude. So, you saw the subject of the debate. Are you familiar with the topic?
I said I was going to do a little bit of research. I didn't have time to do a lot of it, but I was reading about 30 minutes before I sent you the friend request.
Okay, so basic concept. Harvard allows people pro-Palestinian views on campus. Trump administration says and this is my argument, says, hey, you need to suppress those people or get rid of those people and not let them have those certain views or ideologies. And if you don't, we're going to take away federal funding. And then Harvard says, fuck off, and they take away the federal funding. That would be against Harvard's free speech because trying to ideologically coerce Harvard by saying what ideologies it can and can't allow on campus is against their First Amendment right as a private institution.
I mean, I would agree. I would agree. What I was doing was like a little bit more background on what led to this, I guess, like from his first administration up to now. That's what I was reading now. His executive order, I think the number is 13864. It's called Improving Free Inquiry, Transparency, and Accountability at Colleges and Universities from March 21st. But I guess it's a little bit difficult to see the outcomes of
Yeah,
an
the only
executive
I
order
was looking
because they're
into
just
it,
like
and the only problem with
outlines.
like all those things that none of those were like legally binding. He was just like the like federal task for battling anti-Semitism, just like sending them like random shit and saying you have to do this, even though they're not like legally required to.
Yeah, the only thing that I'm like more familiar with is the what's it called? The one where he either tried to or did block their funding. I think even though wasn't that like approved by Congress? I might be wrong about that. And he was trying to take it away regardless. But
Tried to or did block their funding. I don't. I'm not super familiar. I don't remember that happening.
yeah, that was this administration. Hold on a minute.
Oh, you mean sorry, funding blocks? Yeah, yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah,
Okay, I want to see how that works out.
I think SCOTUS blocked it, if I remember correctly.
SCOTUS. Okay.
Yeah, but I might be
Yeah,
wrong about
I'm
that.
so fucking. It's not you. You didn't have any time to prepare. I don't like. I didn't expect you. Just kind of frustrating that you set something up. It's not even his fault.
Wait, what?
Oh yeah, like somebody was like actually gonna be super contentious.
Oh, oh, oh.
Oh shit. Guess I'm just gonna end live early tonight.
Also, if they blocked some. Well, it wasn't SCOTUS. I think it was, from what I'm reading, it was federal courts that blocked some of the actions um, that the administration took against Harvard, but some are still ongoing.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to end live here. Thanks for coming on though.
Yep.